Your boys are in a great mood. Just had a spirited production meeting, and now we're on the air. It is the Fantasy NBA Today. Rick Kamla, Hall of Famer Steve Alexander, Best in the Biz producer Andre Lemouche. This fine show is presented by FanDuel. And Doc, we've got a fun episode for the people here, man. We are going to talk briefly about some small little news items, Luka and Mikal. And then we're going to go into Andre Lemouche, crunch the numbers on our all-time fantasy draft with Wilt and Magic and Bird and Jordan and all these guys, right? We did this last week. He crunched the numbers over the weekend to see who would actually win. And what I will just tease you and say is the numbers are super close, okay? And so we'll tell you who got the dub based on Andre's numbers later in the show, and we've got a huge thing planned for you, career year theory. We're going to get into my thought on it, and we're going to look ahead to this year and tell you guys that we think we're going to have career years in 25-26. Huge show. Glad you guys are along for the ride. Doc, two news items since we've been off the air. There have been some small signings, two-ways and stuff like that. I don't care. Ricky Council went to the Nets. I don't care. Luka Doncic got 3 years and $165 million. Big news, press conference, blah, blah, blah. And you had Mikal Bridges getting 4 years and $150 million from the New York Knicks, which was very, very predictable. They keep the mostly Nova Nick thing together. Any commentary on that money?
No, I don't think any of it was surprising. Obviously, the Lakers are locked in on Luka being the future of that franchise, and this is probably LeBron's swan song with them, and maybe his career. Who knows? I mean, I just want Luka to come out and do what he's supposed to do. Like, you know how I always say, man, it's now or never with this guy. Like, I've been patient long enough. He's either going to do it this year or I'm out. I mean, it's sort of where we are with Luka, right? I mean, you can't be a Vegas favorite to win MVP every year and never even come close. Like, you either got to put up or shut up. The men's health cover that we talked about last week and all the hype about how good he looks, I in a way, it's awesome because it gives us all hope that we're finally going to get a full season of full Luka. But it also just adds to the pressure of, look, dude, you got to produce. You got to come up big this year. And so far, he hasn't. So I think this is a pivotal year in the career of Luka.
Yes, it is, dude. And this is right now the summer of Luka, the men's health thing, all the chatter. He just got paid. There's been other stuff, but all the like sightings of him. Ooh, look at Luka. It looks like he's in great shape. We haven't talked about anybody more than Luka this offseason. He's been the most newsy NBA player by far, and that's going to lead into the career year of Luka, I believe, and we'll get to that a little bit later. Mikal Bridges, good for him. You know, it's good money for him. It seems like a decent contract for the Knicks long term, $4 and $150. It's not max money or anything like that. It's big money. You know, it's what is it, $35 million a year or something like that. It's really good money. I'm just not a huge fan of his as a fantasy player. All right, so a couple of newsy things, and now we got to move into Doc Andre's number crunching on our draft last week. We did the all-time fantasy draft with, you know, all the, where the hell is my list? Oh, Doc. I should have this list. I don't have this list right now. Anyway, we drafted our all-time teams.
Mine's the one with all the flashy names on it. The shiny diamonds like Michael Jordan and Akeem Olajuwon and Larry Bird and Kobe Bryant. Yeah.
A previous version of me on this show would be cussing right now, but I'm not. I'm over that. Oh, here it is. I got too many of these sheets of paper. You got all these pads, Doc. I got all these little half sheets of paper that I use.
I have a million.
Guys, here are the teams. I had, well, here we go. Point guard, Magic. Shooting guard, Curry. Guard, Westbrook. Small forward, LeBron. Power forward, KG. Forward, Elgin Baylor. Don't sleep. Center, Wilt. Center, Wemby. Come on. flex Kareem, right? Wilton Wemby. Oh my God.
Well, you have Wilt, Wemby, and Kareem, dude.
And Kareem, and then David Robinson. Okay, he's my next flex. And then my bench is West, Oscar, Shaq, and Barry, as in Rick Barry. Doc, if you have your team and you can rattle it off, go ahead for the people.
Oh, hey.
I can do it. I got it right here. Just let me know.
Luka, point guard Luka, then Michael Jordan, then Kobe Bryant, then Larry Bird, then Kevin Durant, then Tim Duncan, Hakeem Olajuwon at center, Nikola Jokic at center. You know, Rick, as good as your team sounded, I mean, this one sounds just as good. Utility Chris Paul, utility Dirk Nowitzki, bench Tracy McGrady, Allen Iverson, Isaiah Thomas, and the much Mikal Bridges like Sean Marion, the Matrix at the end of it.
All right, so those are the teams that we drafted, folks. Now, again, Andre Lemouche, best in the biz, the best numbers, the best prep, the best organization. I could go on and on and on. Tidbits as we do the show. The guy's the best producer I've had, okay? And there's no recency bias with that. I've had producers going back to the mid-1990s. It includes all of them. All right, so the voting, Doc, said you had the best team. And you do have the shiny, fancier, bigger name team, okay? I'm taking West and Oscar and all these dusty old dudes, and you're taking Jordan, Kobe, Bird, right? Good for you. So you won the public vote, 51.7% to 48.3%. That's pretty close, dude.
Pretty close. It's very close. I mean, that's basically a draw. Like you gotta, all those political polls are always within 2 or 3%.
Right. The last two political elections in our country have been very, very close, right? I know that the Trump-Biden one was, I don't really follow politics, but was Trump's last victory close, or was that like an ass kicking? I honestly don't even know. Do you remember?
It was called a landslide, but I mean, they're always kind of close. Who knows, man? So much of that stuff is.
All right. Anyway, who cares?
I have a lot more faith in Andre's numbers than I do what I see on TV about politics.
Bro, amen to that, and we'll move on. Okay, so here's what the numbers say, based on Andre's calculation of all-time stats of these guys. Field goal percentage, Rick wins 49.4% to 47.9%. Like I say, if you and I played, like you'd win field goal, I'd win field goal. That's essentially a coin flip. Three balls, you got me pretty significantly, 15-10. It says here, probably because my old timey guys weren't popping threes. I don't know, but you get the win there. Free throw percentage, Doc wins 80.1 to 74.1. Pretty clear advantage for you. Obviously, I've got Wilt and Shaq. I've got two terrible free throw shooters on my team. All right, so Doc's ahead 2-1. Rebounds, I got this by a mile, 136 to 103. So it's 2-2. Assists, and this is where it really pivots and hinges. Andre says close call, but Rick seems to have the upper hand, 78.9 to 75. Again, any week that can flip. It's between 3.9 per game.
It depends on how many. It depends on how many games Isaiah Thomas has that week. Good
point. It's a good point. So it says here 3-2 Cam, and then steals go to you, Doc, 20.9 to 17.6. And it says, Andre says, even accounting for the non-steal data from Baylor and Wilt, the 3.3 margin keeps this as Doc's category. Limited Jerry data has him at 2.6 and Oscar at 1.1. So again, like when I took old-timey guys, I was like, this may hurt me. And in fact, it has. But it is what it is. They were the right picks. But you get steals. So we're at 3-3. Blocks goes to me 16-13, basically. And then I get points, pretty heavy advantage, 337 to 316. But any given week, number of games, a guy misses a game, boom, and that's game on. So what Andre says here, summary, 8-cat format, Cam wins 4 categories, Doc wins 3 categories, assists, slight lean to me, Turnover slide advantage to me as well, but incomplete data on that. So, Doc, chew on some of that number crunching, that brilliant number crunching by Andre Lemouche.
Yeah, it's fun. And you know how every single year you draft your teams and then you get a grade from Yahoo or a grade from whoever. Like, how often is that end up being who actually wins the league? Like, I would say fairly rarely are those all that accurate. Like, so I do appreciate the number crunching, and this is different because a lot of this is historical, right? We're like looking backwards at a lot of this. So I'm just happy it looks like it's competitive, 4-3, 3-4, whatever. It would be super fun to be able to play this out if all these dudes are still playing basketball.
Bro, it's just typical Cam and Doc, dude. Every week would be a slugfest down in the mud, talking trash. Doc hitting me with the crying strategy.
I don't know how I can. I don't know how I can hope to compete with you when you have Wemby and Wilt.
Waving the white flag.
I have no
freaking
chance.
Love it, man. I freaking love it. I'm telling you right now, if I drafted Iverson where I drafted Jerry West, I think these numbers are looking different, bro. I think these numbers are looking different because then I'm getting the 2.2 steals from AI, getting the 27 points, I'm getting the 6 dimes.
Dude, I'll tell you that's
was
actually that's actually what I wanted to say. I mean, you can't overstate the importance of having Wilt Chamberlain on your team. You take Wilt off your team, everything flips. Like Wilt would be banned from fantasy, I think. He's too good.
Not from Cam Dynasty, he wouldn't, dude.
I've got Kobe and Jordan and Larry Bird and Akeem Olajuwon, and I can't even compete because you have Wilt. I mean,
yes, you can compete. The numbers prove that you would compete with me every single week with this team. I have a slight advantage. You know what, Doc? You know what I should do? I should, as the commissioner of the Cam Dynasty, I should create some legislation to ban Wemby. He's on Andre's team, okay? So Andre has a weapon of mass destruction. I'm just kidding, Andre. I would never do that. I'm just messing with y'all. The league is the league. All the players, they're there. He gave up 4 first-round picks in LaMelo Ball to get him. I still don't think that's enough for Wemby, but it is a lot. I will give him that. The fact that we only go 1 year out with draft picks, right? So the fact that he was able to orchestrate 4 first-round picks when you only have 2 to deal with, it was very impressive, and that's what got the deal done. So let's see here. He says, final breakdown. Rick's team build holds the overall advantage. This would be a competitive matchup. Rick should dominate field goal percentage, rebounds, blocks. Doc should take threes, free throws, and steals. Points are likely Rick's, but we know fantasy can swing. And he says assists would be a swing category. And so it'd be very, 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 very close. Now, Doc, let's get into the meat of our episode here, which is about the career year theory. This is something that I've developed over the years, Doc, by being disappointed. Okay, and I'll take you back to the origination of this. It's from 2,000-yard NFL running backs. Okay, Adrian Peterson, Jamal Lewis, Chris Johnson, Saquon Barkley last year. Okay, by the way, I'm fading Saquon. I don't want him on a single one of my fantasy football teams this year. Why? He was so amazing last year. Oh, my God. There's a Super Bowl champion. You're so stupid. No, I'm not. The career year theory is undefeated. It's undefeated, especially when it's 2,000-yard running backs in the NFL. Doc, I did a study on this, and the stat remains, and it continues. Well, I guess we'll find out with Saquon, but I'm anticipating that this pattern's going to hold up. Every single 2,000-yard NFL running back has either to earth the next year and smashed to smithereens, or the numbers went, woo, okay? It's one or the other. either they got hurt or something happened, or they just went, woo, every single time. Okay. That's where the career year theory comes from. I don't know if you play fantasy football, so I don't know if you've spotted that, with these 2,000-yard backs. And then that's led to other guys, Doc, big touchdown guys. Do you remember the year that Jamal Williams with this, I believe it was with Detroit or the Saints, I can't remember, like 3 years ago, led the league in total touchdowns, right? He was the most obvious fade in the history of the world the next year. Joe Mixon, one of the years with Cincy, had 18 or 20 touchdowns. The most obvious fade going into the next year. You remember 2 years ago, Raheem Mostert had like 20 touchdowns, right? What did he do last year in Miami? He was awful, okay? So it's when these guys have these out-of-body experience seasons, and that's what you have to diagnose. Was this an out-of-body experience, or is this in him to do it again? Okay, so when I diagnose that, no, this is an out-of-body experience, bam, career year theory, I'm done, I'm fading you, and I'm telling the world to fade you as well. So, Doc, take it from there.
Is Le'Veon Bell on that list?
I'd have to go back, but probably at some point, because he had one massive year, and then I think it just fell off, right?
It was just gone. And how many of those guys were on the cover of Madden, I wonder?
Ooh, good point. A few of them. At least
it reminds me of the whole Madden curse thing. It's the same thing. Like these running backs, like there's been very few running backs that just go out and do it over and over and over again. I feel like Marshall Faulk was pretty good for several years. Adrian Peterson was very good for several years. But man, when the running back falls off the table, it's like straight down. There's no like slow decline. It's just like turn off a light switch. And if you're on the wrong side of that, it's very painful, because I mean, there's a lot of times you take a running back with your first or second pick that you think is going to go off or had a great year last year, and it just doesn't work out. So, yeah, and Rick, I'm still old school when I draft my fantasy teams. Like, I've tried to talk myself out of it and tell myself that, the points in today's game are all wide receivers, and that's where you really put your money. But I still go running back, just because of position scarcity. I always draft running backs too early.
So we'll get back to basketball here in just a second. Many of you are drafting fantasy football teams, and we're goats in that realm too. I can tell you my personal strategy, Doc, is to go back, okay, and bookend them, because the premium backs are at the top. Once you get into round 3 and 4, now you're into the timeshare backs. And so they're good ones, but they're timeshare backs, right? So here's the thing, Doc. You think about George Pickens and Jerry Jeudy and all of these stud wide receivers that you're going to get in rounds 4, 5, 6, 7, right? You don't need to take Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. You don't need to do that. You can. I'm not mad at you for doing it, but I'd rather have Derrick Henry and Bijan Robinson and then deal with the really, really good wide receivers, as opposed to having elite wide receivers and having a bunch of timeshare running backs. All right, football conversation over. Let's get back to the career year theory. Andre asked a great question here. Does it apply to all players? It's an outstanding question, Doc. And this gets back to diagnosing, is it an out-of-body experience or not? Because let's bring it back to basketball. Nikola Jokic's year last year, Doc, was a career year. First triple-double, career high in assists. I think he had a career high in steals, and I believe it was the best 3-ball year of his career. And he might have had a career high in rebounding. I don't know. And it might have been a career high in scoring. I don't know. Maybe you can look that up while I'm jamming here. But, Doc, I'm not going to say, oh, that was a career year theory from Jokic, and then I'm fading him this year, right? He's an all-time great. So when Emmitt Smith would rock 2,200 total yards and 18 touchdowns, I never said career year theory. He's Emmitt frickin' Smith, right? He just did that year after year after year after year. So you've got to diagnose, was it an out-of-body experience, okay? Or is this an all-time great mofo where this is what he's capable of? So that's the decision-making process with it.
And with Jokic, I mean, Could he have a better season than he had last year? I mean, maybe. I'd say there's an 85% chance that Jokic's numbers this coming season are not going to be as good as they were last season. But that's because last season's numbers were stupid. He averaged a triple-double and 30 points. Like they were absolutely ridiculous numbers. So, the drop off there, like even if Jokic has a bad season, he's still going to be a top 4 fantasy player. Like that's just where he is. So it does not apply to everyone. Like I whether Jokic had a career year last year or not has no impact on my thoughts of where to draft him.
All right, so let's look at Jokic real quick. Career year in points by a mile, 29.6. Second most rebounds of his career at 12.7. Most assists at 10.2. Most steals at 1.8. Not a career high in blocks. By far a career high in threes. You know what, Doc? All the stats that we rank and that it escaped me that Jokic was 2 threes a game last year. I'll admit that. He was at 2 threes a game last year. Oh my God. Maybe this was a career year. Shot 42% from downtown. Never even approached 40%. He approached 40% a couple of times, but never like that. Okay, so this is a obvious career year from Nikola Jokic, but he is not going to be one of my career year theory players because he's Nikola freaking Jokic. Because, Doc, when I brand you, I shouldn't say brand, when I label you a career year guy, okay, it means I'm fading you. It means I'm telling the world to fade you. So I got to be careful with that. I'm putting that on Jokic. Nope. Draft away, folks.
Jokic could have won the last 6 MVPs probably. I mean, he was in the hunt for at least 5 of those. And actually, last year, a lot of people thought he should have won. And every year, people think he should have won. So Jokic is not who was the running back for the Cowboys a couple of years ago?
Dude, are you thinking about DeMarco Murray?
No, the dude from Ohio State, I think.
Ezekiel Elliott.
That dude burned a lot of people. That's not really a career year theory, but like Zeke was getting drafted so high, and then he just wet the bed. Jokic not going to do that, so you don't have to worry about Jokic.
We just had a Zeke Elliott, Nikola Jokic analogy made by Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. That was cool.
Wasn't a very good job by me.
I just like that Zeke Elliott and Jokic were used in the same deal. I thought that was pretty cool. He's Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. I'm Rick Kamla. We're the Fantasy NBA today. We're presented by FanDuel. Glad to have you guys and girls along for the ride. Hi. Okay, so now, Doc, I want to move into some examples.
Your guys.
So hold on a second. I want to give you some examples of last year where it worked where it worked and where it didn't. And I'll make this pretty quick here. So these are guys coming out of 23-24, okay? Coming out of 23-24 that I thought were going to be good, and I was wrong. And maybe I undiagnosed a career year. So the guys that I hit on, Joel Embiid, Doc, and this was heading into this past year. Remember the year before, 34.7 points, 11 boards, 5.6 assists, 1.7 blocks, 1.2 steals, 1.4 threes. And I won't do the whole stat line with every guy, but like by far the best year of Embiid's career. Oh my God, those numbers, right?
How many games did he play that year?
I don't know. I didn't write that down.
More than he normally does.
Yeah, exactly. But I knew coming off of that year with all the injury stuff. Yeah. Okay, Lauri Markkanen, 23-24. He went 23 points, 8 boards, 2 assists, 3.2 threes. Knew to fade him and was right. Jalen Brunson, remember the year before Cat, Doc, 28.7 PPG, great numbers across the board. I knew he was coming. It wasn't a full fade, but it was like, guys, Brunson ain't going 29 a game, and he didn't. Desmond Bane, with a healthy JJJ. Yeah, I thought Ja Morant was going to play a lot more games last year than he did. Anyway, it all led to a fade of Desmond Bane, and that was the right move. The year before, 23-24, is at 24 points, over 4 boards, 5.5 assists, and on and on. Doc, Alex Caruso. Remember that I traded him coming off that year with Chicago. I did. I had him on my dynasty team. That year he went 10, 4, and 3 with 1, 1, and 1. We talked about that. And then Dante DiVincenzo. I knew to fade him off the career year in New York, 15.5 PPG, 3.5 threes a game. And he didn't even come close to that last year. So I got it right with those 6 guys. Okay. Here's where I got it wrong. And so De'Aaron Fox. So in other words, I ranked him too high. He was coming off, Doc. Here's his line in 23-24. 26.6 points per game. I looked at this last night. I'm like, oh my God, what a year. 4.6 boards, 5.6 assists, 2 steals, 2.9 threes from De'Aaron Fox. Who doesn't hit 3 balls like that? That was a misdiagnosed career year for me. Okay, because I was very high on him coming in. He didn't even come close to it. I know he got traded and all of that, but I can't take all this credit. I got to take some else here. And so to me, I don't know if Fox is ever going to do that again, Doc. That was a misdiagnosed career year, I thought. Devin Vassell, okay, coming off 23-24, 19.5 points, career high, 4.1 assists, career high. And then he kind of went like this year, and I got that wrong. And then Anthony Simons, Doc. 23-24. Check out this year from Anthony Simons. 22.6 points, 5.5 assists, 3.4 3 balls. Dude, it was career highs in every single category. All right. And that was an undiagnosed career year. And obviously Simons last year didn't even come close to that. So the scoreboard reads 6-3 on how I got that last year. Any thoughts on any of those cats?
No, I like this. This is sort of your baby. You know, I've got my guys. I write about my guys. I think about my guys all the time. And you've got some other stuff going on. You've got the career year theory. So this is sort of like your show. I feel like I'm just a passenger on Rick Kamla Airways right now. Also, you said Ricky. You mentioned a player, Ricky. Who'd you mention earlier when we were talking about news? You said news you didn't
Ricky
care
Council.
about.
Ricky Council.
You mentioned Ricky Council. When you said Ricky, I immediately was like, oh man, Ricky Props is here. Like I thought we were going to do some Ricky Props. I haven't heard the name Ricky since we were doing Ricky Props last year. And I don't know how I just faded into that conversation, but I wanted to. I miss Ricky Props. I'm excited to get back on FanDuel and make some prop bets when the NBA season starts. And I can't wait to get the intel from Ricky Props, who's going to be back here in about a month and a half.
Dude, I mean, where are we here? August 4th. So it's kind of exciting that we flipped to August because September, there's still no hoops. But at the end of September, we get media day and the opening up of training camp. All right. So we're a month out from the month that ceremoniously begins the season. We're getting there, guys. We're building the bridge to the 25-26 season. All right. So these are the guys that I'm telling you to fade this year. And then we're going to get into my list of career year guys this year, Doc's list of career year guys this year. We're going to blend that up and have fun with it. I'm going to give you, Doc, I tell you what, let's do this. Where are we at with time? We're good on time. I'm going to give you the list here, Doc. You tell me where you disagree. Let's do it this way. Okay. I got 10 guys here. I got 10 guys who I believe last year had a career year, and they're not going to do it probably ever again, but definitely not this season. You know, some of the younger guys, I'm not going to like rule out another year like that, but maybe I am. All right. It's Karl-Anthony Towns. It's Dyson Daniels. Josh Hart. Franz Wagner. Norman Powell. That's 5. Towns, Daniels, Hart, Franz Wagner, Norman Powell. Those are 5. Jalen Suggs. I know the games played sucked, but the overall numbers were easily a career high. PJ Washington. Quentin Grimes, Ty Jerome, and Jakob Poeltl, who was an addition last night when I finished my rankings, Doc. And I took a closer look at Pirtle. I was like, he just had a career year. I mean, Pirtle's off everybody's radar, right? I took a deep dive in him. I'm like, you are guilty of having a career year. So Towns, Dyson Daniels, Hart, Franz Wagner, Norman Powell, Jalen Suggs, PJ Washington, Quentin Grimes, Ty Jerome, Jakob Pirtle. That is my run for your life and hide list. Out of that list, Doc, I'm going to give you the guy like wouldn't draft Pirtle, wouldn't draft Jerome, wouldn't draft Grimes, wouldn't draft PJ. Pretty much, I don't want to draft Suggs, although I love him. Not drafting Norman Powell. This year, I'm not drafting Franz, but he's a young stud. I'm leaving the future open. Definitely not drafting Josh Hart this year. Full fade. Like, I would take Franz this year, Doc. I still would, right? It'd have to be at my terms, though, and he'll probably go ahead of those terms. But I would take Franz this year. He's not a full fade like these other guys. Dyson Daniels also is a guy, Doc. It's not a full fade. It's not a full fade. I would still take Dyson Daniels, but I think he'll be overdrafted, and I won't even have to worry about it. And then same thing with Towns. Not a full fade. I'm not saying I would never take Karl-Anthony. I would, but I think he's going to be overdrafted, and I'm going to be taking other guys in the first round when you all are taking Towns. So that's the list, Doc. Take me anywhere you want to go on that.
First of all, I'm actually kind of shocked, and maybe I'm kind of surprised that Ivica Zubac is not on this list. Okay. That dude had a monster quiet year where he just dominated. Like if you had Zubac on your fantasy team, he was basically put up all-star numbers and you drafted him in like what, 6th round. So I'm kind of surprised Zubac is not on that list. I think he's probably on mine. If I was going to make a list like this, overall, the list that you just rattled off looks very good to me. If you would have hung out with me at Johnny B's and played some Golden Tea with me and drank some Tropicalia with me and said, "Hey, dude, did you know PJ Washington had a career year last year?" I would be like, "No, he didn't. No, he didn't." I can't believe PJ Washington is on this list. I can't believe he had a career year. So that to me is the funniest thing about the list. The Norman Powell thing, it's fun when you predict someone is going to have a career year and they do it, and then that's the time to run away. I'm running away as fast as I can from Norman Powell. So I totally agree with this list, and you're right about Dyson Daniels. I'm still bullish on Dyson Daniels. I'll be one of those people probably drafting him too high. You're not going to have to worry about probably anybody on this list because these guys are all, well, once you get past Norman Powell, it drops off, and maybe these guys will be available when it's your turn to pick. But I think Cat, Dyson, Josh Hart, Franz, and Norman Powell, maybe not Powell, but those guys are going to be gone before you're thinking about taking them, Rick. So you're not really going to have to worry about whether to draft these guys or not. I'm curious. I'm really intrigued to see what happens in New York. We got a new coach who's kind of a softie. He's not Tom Thibodeau. He's not going to make these guys run through brick walls for him. So the incentive to play every night is not going to be there for Josh Hart or Cat. Mikal Bridges will play every night because that's what he does. But and Josh Hart, I'm not worried about him missing games. I am worried about Cat. I don't think New York is the hands down favorite to win the East, like some people do, because we just don't know how this is going to work, man. Like, you fire your coach and you don't have a bench. I don't like that. But overall, I got to say, I really like this list, and I agree with almost all of it. I'd love to have Jalen Suggs on my team, though.
Hold on. This year, you would love to have Jalen Suggs on your team? Really?
Yeah.
Tell me more. I have not heard this geekiness from you for Jalen Suggs before. I'm surprised.
I'm kind of on an Orlando tangent, and I really like the Magic. I really like what they're doing over there. we got rid of Karl-Anthony, right? So I like I said, I think I said this a couple weeks ago. Like they need to sit Jalen Suggs down and be like, dude, we've got Desmond Bain, Franz Wagner, and Paolo Banchero, and Wendell Carter Jr. and Mo Wagner.
And maybe Nikola Vucevic. That is now the move. I want that move. Go ahead on Suggs.
They get Vooch.
I'm
they
saying,
might win the East.
He was a two-time All-Star in Orlando.
Hopefully, we've sat down with Jalen Suggs and be like, look, dude, I know you've been banged up your whole career. I get it. You haven't played many games. You've been hyped a lot, but haven't really come through at all. Like, we need you this year, dude. Like, if Jalen Suggs comes out healthy and balls, that team could be unstoppable. So I'm kind of feeling like Jalen Suggs doesn't want to let his team down this year. Where in the past, I don't think it mattered that much because they weren't going to be very good anyway.
I agree with everything you're saying here, man. But his style of play leads to injuries. The guy, he's a crash test dummy of a basketball player. And I don't mean he's a dummy. He's not. He's a brilliant basketball player, but a crash test dummy where they put the human in the car, they crash the car in the factory, and the crash test dummy does all this stuff, and it doesn't die because it's a crash test dummy. It's not an actual human. Zubac. Doc, this is why you the man. Because you got my head spinning. Look, I vetted Zubac. I didn't miss anybody. I go through the whole league when I do this stuff. And I'm like, I'm really conflicted about this, dude. It's by far a career year. No doubt, no debate, okay? Ivica Zubac, last year, I'm going to round, he went 17-12. The year before, he went 12-9, okay? That was the previous best year, 12-9. And he went 17 and almost 13. Okay. He didn't have a career high in blocks. He did not have a career high in field goal percentage. Not that I care. But it stands out as a tremendous career year. Here's my hang up, Doc. Here's why he didn't make the list. But based on this conversation right now, I may put him on the list. Okay. I think he can do this again. Why can't Zubac go 16.8 points and 12.6 boards with 1.1 blocks? So I think that's replicable from him. I do. And so that's why, like the career year theory thing is, are you capable of what you just did this year? And Franz, there's no way Franz does what he did last year this year. There's literally no way, unless a bunch of guys get hurt. With Paulo and Suggs and Bain, there's no way Franz is going 25-5-5. There's no freaking way I will die on that hill, okay? But why can't Zubac go 17-12? Doc, here's why I love Zubac. The connection with James Harden. They're joined at the hip, dude. They're like, what was that movie, Stuck on Me, with Matt Damon and what's that other dude's name? Greg Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear, yeah.
It's a phenomenal movie, okay? Dude, that Zubac and Harden loves Zubac. They were on offense through Zubac, okay? They set up, design, pick and roll to the basket plays for Zubac. So, okay, I'm done on the Zubac thing. Do you think Zubac can go 17-12 again this year?
How many years has he been in the league? Like 10?
Good question. 9
He's never come close to 17.
Yeah, but he's never ever been put up to bat like that. He played a career high 33 minutes. The year before, Doc, he played 26 minutes. The year before, he played 28, 24, 22, and then it's in the teens. He was never, ever, ever put up to bat like that. And it's no coincidence, Doc. Heading into last year, remember, he got paid $20 million a year around, like big money. It wasn't, I think it was like just short of $20 million a year. But when I saw that contract to Zubac, I was like, okay, they got plans for that dude. Like they are going to really, and boom, we saw the career year. 12 shots per game, his previous career high. Dude, His previous career high was 7.6 in shot attempts per game. Last year, it spikes all the way up to 12. Why? The Harden connection. So go ahead.
So I'm just going to say this. I bet against him matching those numbers. I don't think it's possible. I still would happily take Zubac anytime after round 4. I think with Brook Lopez and John Collins in LA to fight him for those rebounds and those shots, that's going to end up hurting him. He doesn't have to play 33 minutes or 32 minutes or whatever it was with Brook Lopez there.
Doc, I'm gonna put Zubac at the end of this list with a bunch of question marks by it. I feel like, dude, everything you're saying is right on the money. Okay. Can he do that again? I tell you what, Doc, I'm going to add him to the list, but I'm going to put him with Cat and Daniels and Franz and Zubac. Okay. They're not full fades. I would still take them. I'd definitely draft Zubac. I think he's going to have a very healthy double-double. I don't know if it'll be 17 and 12. He's going to have a very healthy double-double with 1+ blocks per game. But so I would put him on the career year theory list, but as a guy that it's not a full fade. Okay, let's get to our guys, Doc, for this year. I want you to give me your list. And so just run it through. I'm going to write it down. I got my list, and then I want to see how many guys we have the same on this. And again, I want to explain this, guys. These are guys that we think heading into this year are going to have career years. And Doc, I will say something. I excluded second-year guys, Matas Buzelis, Alex Sarr, Donovan Clingan. It's just like, of course they're going to have better years than they did last year. They're rookies going into their sophomore year. So I excluded those guys. And it's like the veterans beyond that. So go ahead.
I'll try to make this quick. I went through every team in the league and kind of picked the guy or the two guys that I thought were going to have a big year for those teams. So I'll just go down some of those players. Paolo Banchero is on my list. One who was on my list, who's probably not on yours, is Jalen Johnson. You know, it is time for Jalen Johnson of the Hawks to either stay healthy and do what we all know he's capable of doing, or he's going to end up on a bunch of people's never again list. I've got Brandon Miller. I've got Amen Thompson. I've got Benny Mathurin, of all people. DeAndre Ayton, Rick. I doubt he's on your list. I think he's going to have his best year because LeBron and Luka are going to get in his you-know-what. Khalil Ware. Terrence Shannon made my list. I don't know if he's a second-year guy or not, but he is on my list. I've got Jalen Suggs on my list, which is interesting because you have him on your career fade list. Adem Bona, Devin Booker, your guy. I'm sure Booker's probably on your list. Wembanyama, I'm almost done. Scotty Barnes, Filipowski, and Bub Carrington. But Bub's second year set probably doesn't matter.
Okay, so you
have Koulibaly too.
You got Koulibaly.
Koulibaly.
All right. We have a lot of differences, Doc, and I love that. So first of all, you have Khalil Ware, you have Terrence Shannon, you have Filipowski, you have Bub. I love Bub this year. I see Filipowski, but stuff needs to happen. I see Terrence Shannon. Those guys are 30 deep guys for me, and I do like Khalil Ware, although I think his upside's a little limited because of the Norman Powell edition. So, like I said, I excluded rookies heading into their second year, and those four guys fall into that. But Doc didn't know that. That's just how I did my list. So there's no foul there. We agreed on 6 guys, Doc. That's it. I thought there would be more. The 6 guys. Hold on one second. I need a little squirt of water, Doc, a little Gatorade or something.
Me too.
All right. The guys that we have the same. Paul Banchero, Jalen Johnson, Doc. I had him as well.
Wow.
This is that last year, right? Like you've screwed me twice, but I've hung in there with you. I got him in the Cam Dynasty. Maybe this year he helps me beat Andre in the championship game. Jalen, that would be great. If that's not the case, Jalen, I will be trading you in the Cam Dynasty, and I will never draft you again in redraft leagues. But as it is right now, I think he's going to have a career year this year. Another one I agree with you on, pardon me, is Brandon Miller, okay? Amen Thompson, I'm with you there. Wemby, with you there. And Scotty Barnes, with you there. Doc, that's 6 guys. So let me put an extra little something by these guys that we
the only reason Devin Booker made my list is because you've been hyping him up so hard. And I like, oh, Rick loves Devin Booker this year. Booker's gonna have a career high, blah, 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 blah. So you have gotten into my head about Devin Booker. So when I got to Phoenix, I was like, oh, Devin Booker obviously is on this list. And then you unveil your list. He's not even on your list. What the hell is going on?
Booker, here's why Booker didn't make the list. And I'm thinking now maybe I need to put him on, Doc. Maybe I do. He's such a mainstay every year. He's so freaking consistent that, I don't know. Like
Jokic.
So like Jokic. Okay, let me take you through Devin Booker, his last 7 years in scoring. 26-6, 26-6, 25-6, 26-8, 27-8, 27-1, 25-6.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's incredible. Okay, the steals suck. We know that. He's been 1+ twice in his career. Who cares? The assists over that same time with all the 26s have gone 6.8, 6.5, 4.3, 4.8. Those were the Chris Paul years. 5.5, 6.9, 7.1 last year. Okay, could Booker go 28, which is a career high, and 7.5 assists, which is a career high? Yeah, Doc, I'm adding him to the list. I'm adding him to the list because, like, I don't think it's going to be an out-of-body experience or anything. This is an all-time great player, the greatest scorer in Suns history, and it's not even close. And they've had some really good scores. So I'm adding Booker to the list, Doc. It's a good call by you. I do think he's going to have the best stat year of his career. I don't think it's going to be by much, though, but I do. Dude, because he's averaged 27.8 points. He's already been at 28. And I think he's going to get back there this year. Go ahead.
Well, before the show in our our spirited production meeting, we were talking about you mentioned Bam Adebayo, and I think it's the same thing. I'm like, well, his numbers are already so good. How can you expect a guy who's been that good for that long to be even better next year? And I guess that's exactly where we are with Devin Booker too. It's like, okay, maybe he is going to have a career year, but his numbers aren't going to jump that much because they're already too high.
Exactly. And too consistent. So it's 7 guys that we agree on, Doc. We're a collab here, and I love the Booker call. Like, yeah, this is going to be a career year from Booker, but like Doc said, it's not going to be like a crazy career year. But we have 7 guys we agree on: Banchero, Jalen Johnson, Brandon Miller, Amen Thompson, Devin Booker, Wemby, and Scotty Barnes. Get as much. And these are big boys, okay? But get as many shares of those guys as you can. They are officially double vetted by your boys Cam and Doc. Now, I'm going to get into my list here in a second. The other guys Doc had: Ben Mathurin. I like Ben Mathurin this year, Doc. I just don't love his stat set. Not a big 3 guy, not a steal guy. But I will mess with Mathurin this year, Doc. I see kind of a nice, tasty bench year for him. DeAndre Ayton's dead to me. We've already talked about Jalen Suggs. I love him. I just can't in fantasy. Bona may also be in the heading into the second year thing, or is he a third-year player? But I do like the Bona call. I do like the Bona call, Doc, because of the Embiid injury and all that kind of stuff. And then Koulibaly. Yep, I could see a career year from Koulibaly. That's a good call, dude.
Thanks. I don't think I mentioned Jay Huff. I actually had a lot more players on my list than I rattled off, but Jay Huff of the Pacers is also a guy that I think could have a big year. He's going to be one of those super sleeper type late centers that I know Brewski's going to be fired up about him. I don't know if you're fired up about Jay Huff, but Brewski and I
fired up is maybe strong, but he's a deep sleeper for me for sure.
Well, Brewski was driving the Jay Huff bandwagon last year, and I was completely out, but I'm kind of feeling it now.
Well, give me rapid fire style. Give me your other guys that you think are going to have a career year this year.
I don't know. It's going to be hard for me. And most of them were rookies. TJ McConnell, I didn't mention. Peyton Pritchard.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Huff. Jalen Wells, but he's second-year guy, I think. I've got Davion Mitchell on my list, and I don't know how much I believe in Davion. I was so excited about him until they made the changes in Miami, but I'm still hanging in there with Davion Mitchell. Jalen Williams, OKC. I think he's only going to get better for the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
That might be it. I had Clingan, but he's second year. I don't even know who that is. That's it. That's the whole list.
All right. So we agree on J-Dub. I have him on my list that I'm going to give you in a second. And I have no idea why I didn't put Peyton Pritchard on this list. Like you just found a typo in my essay.
And the last one, I have M. Williams written down. I'm like, who's that? It's Mark Williams.
I have Mark Williams too. I'm glad. Pardon me. I'm glad I asked you to go deeper into your list.
That is my entire list.
Because I now corrected the Peyton Pritchard mistake. Dude, I'm geeked about Peyton Pritchard. How did I miss Peyton Pritchard having a career year this year? I don't know how.
Cam. I don't know, Cam. How do you miss him?
Probably because fake Shaq, because I'm human. Humans make mistakes.
You
know that little thing we have to check when we're doing a transit? It says, I am not a robot. I'm not a robot. We make mistakes. Andre Lemouche might be a robot. He never makes mistakes. He actually might be a robot. When his transaction thing comes up in Latvia and it says, click here, I'm not a robot, he pauses. He's like, okay, I'm going to click it because I gotta do this transaction. All right. We still got to do a win total thing here too. All right. So let me get you through my list. Doc, 10 that we agree on. Okay. They are Peyton Pritchard, Devin Booker, Mark Williams, Wemby, Brandon Miller, Jalen Johnson, Scotty Barnes, Paula Banchero, J-Dub, and Amen Thompson. Okay. Those are 10 that Doc and I agree on. We talked about it. Let's move on. Luka. I believe Luka Doncic, Doc, is about to have the best year of his life. I think Luka Doncic might average a triple-double. We're looking at Dallas Luka again, 33, 34, 9-9 kind of thing. I think he's going to have the best year of his career, might win his first MVP. Ant-Man. Doc, I think he's going to take it up another notch. Again, like the Booker thing, I don't think it's going to be a crazy spike, but what he does this year is going to look a little better than he did last year. He's just on the ascent like that. Josh Giddey, Doc. The Bulls are going to pay him. I believe they're going to make this right. Josh Giddey is going to be the number one on an NBA team for the first time in his career, and the numbers are going to be gargantuan. I got him on my career year list. Evan Mobley, again, it's kind of like the Ant-Man thing where just every year it's going to get a little bit better from him. So I think this year is going to be better than last year, which was obviously an all-star season. Chet Holmgren. I think we're going to get the best stat line from Chet of his NBA career this upcoming year. Pascal Siakam, without Miles Turner, without Tyrese Halliburton, I think Siakam's going to have a juicy year. I can't wait to take Siakam. He's not great in fantasy gold, but his PRA is going to be off the charts this year. Might be 20, 10, and 5. Denny Avdia, Doc, I think is going to have better numbers than he did last year. I do like Denny. And then the last guy is somebody you mentioned, and I saved him for last. Bam Adebayo. Okay. These numbers are so freaking consistent. Last year, 18, 9.6, 4.3. It was a down year. honestly, because he's been at 19 and 20. He's been at 10 rebounds 3 of the previous 5 years, and there was 9.6. So, and he's been at 5 assists per game a couple of times in his career, but he was at 4.3. And there's not a career high in steals. He was 0.7 blocks per game. Bro, Bam, that's pathetic. It's pathetic. Bam Adebayo, 0.7 blocks. Bro, block some shots, please. But he was at 1.3 per game, Doc, on 36%. Okay? That's why I believe we got upside in the block category. We still got upside in the steal category. His numbers are going. He's scoring more than 18.1 points per game. I think he's going to get back to a 10 rebound guy this year. With Norman Powell and Wiggins and Hero, you got mouths to feed. I think we could get back to 5 assists from Bam Adebayo. We may even be able to get to 1.5 threes, okay, with improved. I think that 3 game is only going to expand from Bam. I don't think he just had this year, and then he's not going to build on that. So that's why I've got Bam Adebayo on the list, Doc. I think it's going to be the best overall stat line of his career.
The fact I don't have Luka on my list makes no sense to me. Obviously, he's on my list.
Putting him on. And that's 11 that we agree on, by the way.
And Josh Giddey, I don't know if he can be better than he was last year, but he should be able to. I mean, he should be getting better every year at this point of his career. So I like your list. It's a good looking list. I can see all those guys.
All right, so again, the guys we agree on: Luka, Amen, J-Dub, Banchero, Barnes, Jalen Johnson, Brandon Miller, Wemby, Mark Williams, Devin Booker, Peyton Pritchard. 11 guys that we both agree on. And then Doc had some other guys, and I had some other guys. But that was fun. That was a great exercise right there. So, Doc, let's get into FanDuel win totals, okay? And what we want to do is get into today, Doc, the Celtics. Okay. The Celtics, and please use FanDuel's win totals and go to sportsbook.fanduel.com and you can see it out there and make these wagers yourself. But FanDuel has Boston Celtics win total at 42.5, Doc. You going over or under?
Wow. They won 61 games last year and won the championship the year before. And now they're at, what'd you say, 42.5?
Correct.
Dang. That's fewer games than the Detroit Pistons won last year. It's about the same as the Magic, right in that Magic territory. They're on a full tank. I'm going under.
Doc, I don't remember ever loving a wager in my life more than this one. I think Boston's going to clear the under on this by 20 games, dude. I think this is a layup. How does Boston get to 45 wins, to 44 wins? Here's my thing, Doc. If they play Simons and White and Brown, but you've got Nemish Queta and George Niang as your starting 5 and 4. How is this gonna work? How? It's not. And guys, Boston should tank. It's so obvious, Doc. Why wouldn't they tank? I'm going to kill the Celtics if they don't tank this year. I'm going to murder them. You all are idiots if you don't tank this year. Doc, this is going to be a fantastic draft in 2026. Boston has their pick. Go do what Philly did and go get the 3rd pick, the 4th pick, the 5th pick. Tatum, then you're bringing back 2 guys for 26, 27. You're bringing back Tatum, and you're going to have a hot shot rookie to go with your group. Bam, you're right back in the fast lane. It's so stupid to try to win with Queta in the Yang. What? Come on, dude. They got to tank. So I'm going under.
Yeah, I think the Pacers losing Tyrese Halliburton are in a similar boat, but I don't feel like Rick Carlisle is going to play that. He's going to play hard. They're going to try to win every game they can. They have TJ McConnell. Boston they just need to cash it in. They just need to throw in the towel. Tank it up. Tank you later.
Indiana has such a deep team. They're going to be able to win games without Tyrese Halliburton. All right, guys, before we get out of here, we would love you to go to your app store, download the Sports Ethos app. We've got continuous, voluminous, comprehensive blurbs on the NFL, Major League Baseball, and, of course, our beloved NBA. Please go to sportsethos.com and subscribe to our work over there. We have a fantasy football draft guide that's like no other in the business. We got pro football covered. We got college football covered. It's $6 a month, 60% off right now. There's no reason for you not to go out there. If you're a fantasy football head, you got the best in the biz over here. Me, Mozales, all the guys doing our thing and kicking ass for you. We really appreciate you guys joining us. Andre did a phenomenal job with everything and always does. For Hall of Famer Steve Alexander and all of you, I'm Rick Kamla. Thank you so much for watching the Fantasy NBA today. This episode's been proudly presented by FanDuel. See you soon.